When the doctor asked that question, it got real, like quiet. It's almost like they was getting ready to say something. And I'm like, I don't, because like I said, his words weren't clear. Do y'all know this little boy yells out, "Mama"? And so we all just look. And that doctor said, because at this point, the grandma done took the baby from me, the dad, I don't know what they did. It was some foolery. But you said "mama," and it was clear. Clear. And the doctor said, "Give that baby to his mama." And I remember Elijah got back in my arms. I just remember sitting there because, see, even though they didn't know what I just experienced with God, I knew that God was doing a move. He's basically like, do you want to see my ace in the hole? You want to see my trump card? Do you see what I can do? Do you know that I am your father? I am there for you. And that day, I just kind of went home in a victory. It's almost like I was just like reconnected, like, God, you didn't leave me. That one little thing he did, that one little thing took me out. Now, was I happy? No. I wanted my child to be running with everybody else. I wanted my child to be talking like everybody else. And I just told the Lord to help me. Help me be the mother that he needs. See, my disappointment came from the fact that I thought because I was God's daughter, I was omitted from certain things. And while some of those things are true, well, what we also know is true is some people, everybody not a demon, okay, you guys? I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Everything's not demon. But what I do know is not everything is demonic. Some things is for God's glory. But I do know the Lord makes the mute speak and the lame walk. I know that's his word. If he does it once, he'll do it again. Everything's yes and amen. So y'all, I held on to them promises. I asked the Lord to help me be the mother that my son needed and give me the resources. I wish I could tell y'all that I did not cry at times. I cried a lot. I mean, I cried so much that I'm surprised I even have teardrops now. So I took that baby home. We took the information that the doctor gave us later on, and I went with my son to a psychologist. Now, at this point, let me go back to the speech therapist. At this point, my son can't speak. So, what they do, they would teach him sign language. So he speaks sign language, I'm speaking sign language. So that's what he did. So my son, he's speaking sign language, mommy help, or, you're welcome. Like they're teaching him sign language because all he's just making those noises. That's it. So here I am. I said, okay, here I am now. At this point, I now have a job, and I'm trying to learn the sign language to figure out if this is what my life is going to be. And if it is, it's what it is. That's my new norm. So let me learn sign languages. So I'm trying to learn the sign languages, and I'm sending stuff over to Dad, like, hey, you have to learn this because this is how we're going to communicate, whatever, because he wasn't really speaking. And and I felt like it was going to be slow, but I wanted him to be able to do it. I actually should do some more stuff with him now, but he actually speaking. We'll get to that in a minute. And I was like, okay. I thought everything was going to be so amazing. I didn't know where to actually put him, like in certain places, because they had like an autism room, and then they had a room with other kids, and I was like, where should I put this child? But I know he needed to socialize. And so we went through it. We learned together, me and my poo-poo. Whatever he needed, I was going to give to him. Because that's what I do as a mom. I was protecting when I needed to be protecting. But I let him experience the world because I want him to experience the world, because you don't want to put a Band-Aid on them because they need to experience certain things for themselves. I was there the first time somebody says, oh, he talked like a baby. And I saw how his face got sad. especially because he's a big guy, you know. When I say big guy, like he's like up here to me, and I'm actually pretty tall. And we were doing it. Get the psychologist. Me and my son filled out all the paperwork that was needed. The psychologist let me know my son has autism. So now at this point, you definitely have the diagnosis. As the psychiatrist is doing his stuff and then calls back, they go over all the stuff and they come back with you and they tell you what's going on. As psychologist is telling me that my child has autism, I really believe I blanked out, to be honest. I think I really blanked out. Because I was like, this ain't in my family. Where this come from? And you're not blaming the other side. You're just like, what happened? What did I not eat? What did I not drink? What did I not do? For me, I went back to me. What did I not do for this to happen? And he's giving me all these directions. And the directions are, bring on, baby. You gonna eat those? They're open right there, okay. And the psychiatrist is literally telling me, like, these are things that you need to do. He was telling me about a school he can go to. And I'm like, he can go to the school? Or like a different school? Or what? He gotta go to special school? Or, and he's like, you know, it'd just be advantageous for him to go to this type of school so he get the help he needs, and this. And my mind then goes back to the forsaken, how, Lord, I am your daughter. How could this be going? You gave me I got a messed up husband and an autistic child. Was it not enough that I was molested as a child? And that's literally what I went. I'm being so honest with you guys. I was like, how, Lord? I don't understand. What did I do to deserve this? Because to me, this was a punishment for something I did. And it was too much for me. I'll be honest. It was too much because I didn't understand. And I also didn't really know how to do all the things the psychiatrist tell me to do. They got a long list, and he did give resources, but it's like, how am I going to get all this stuff done and be a mother, Lord? And I'm battling his dad in court, which is wild, by the way. But how am I going to get this stuff done? Hold on, y'all. Elijah, baby, you want tacos? I'm trying to see if he's going to say something. Here you go. You don't let me know you want tacos. Okay. We'll get you some tacos. Sorry, y'all. Mommy. Gotta be a mama. So as I'm getting all these all these resources for what I'm going to need to do, I do what anybody do. Let me call this daddy and let him know. Because we got some things to talk about. At that time, I don't think we was like, sorry, y'all. At that time, it was like the summertime. We really wasn't even beefing. We was like literally taking our son to whiteboards and stuff. Was no type of beef. We were taking our son together to Whitewaters. We were going to the YMCA. We were probably the best time ever co-parenting. I don't know when it went, but it went. But the best time co-parenting, and I remember calling him, at least I thought it was. I remember calling him and telling him that, hey, you know, you missed an appointment, you know. He said it just slipped, he forgot. And then I told him, I said, hey, the doctor just told me that he confirmed that this is what's going on with our son. And he sounds so optimistic, you guys. He was just like, you can't really believe that mess they be saying. They don't believe that mess. He'll be all right. You know, like I said, like, well, I haven't said, but like, whatever. I'm not going to speak on it. But I was like, okay. And I was like, he was like, just keep on going, just don't fall into what they're saying. And I said, okay, I get it. It was like, don't call him autistic. Just keep going. From a spiritual lens, I was like, oh, okay. But get him the help that he needs. Because I'm going to go give him the help that he needs. I can't just ignore what the doctor said. That's just wow. You want to get the child the help they need. So I told myself, okay, well, I'm going to see what else is needed, whatever. It was like I click, hang up. I cried that day. I don't know, 2 or 3 things died that day. One, my hope that, like, because you're hoping, like, no, it's not that. So that died. Done. It's been confirmed. The Lord's already telling me, like, hey, this is not no mistake. All right. That died. 2, I knew I was going to be the person, like the parent that was going to be the one that's going to have to facilitate this whole thing. And I had just never imagined that for my particular life. Like, you have to have a realization that this ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't do, like, it is what it is. Like, you're going to have to do all this alone. I knew that day. And lastly, my idea of normal, I wouldn't know what that would look like for a while, because it takes time to get used to and accustomed to whatever they tell you that you needed to do. And I was really sad about it, because I was upset with God, because I felt like I had deserved a break. I mean, I was like, dang, God, like, I didn't already got kicked out pregnant, cried the whole pregnancy. Now the child here and I'm still crying. And I'm crying because I feel bad, because I feel like it's my fault. That mother guilt is something else. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to call anybody. I just knew I was mad at God, for sure. I definitely had a person. It was with God. Because I was like, I thought you said you didn't forsake me. I thought because you waiting for that testimony, you know what I'm saying? Like, God gonna show out. They gonna be like, no. And that did not happen. That did not happen. God said, no. This is what's going on. I remember going home. With my son that day. And I probably bought him whatever he wanted, because I felt bad for him. Meanwhile, he's the happiest little kid in the world, but I feel bad for him. Like, oh my goodness, your mom chose wrong on so many levels, that this is your life now. And boo hoo hoo. And I'm crying, and I'm like, God, can you not change this around? And I hear nothing. I wish I could tell you I heard a stillness little voice that said, girl, yes. I ain't hear nothing. So I got the paperwork that the psychologist gave me, and I started going through the papers. Went through them papers, and I called everybody that psychiatrist said, and whoever picked up, I was going. Now, it was really risky, because I was working, and the things I had to do to get stuff done, I would take my lunch breaks, and I would not eat, like, for real. Probably I lost weight a lot at that point. I was just constantly just looking up the stuff. If you didn't pick up the phone, I drove to your place of business. Because if this was going to be my life, I was going to put every key piece in place so that my son got what he needed. So I drove to this place. I actually called the therapy lane. I called therapy lane. I was like, look, I just got this diagnosis. I got this. The lady was like, we actually have somebody in place right now, but send us our paperwork. Send us all the paperwork that you have right now, and if you can get it in there quickly, we have a person that's ahead of you. Not on my watch. I sent everything in immediately, baby. Like, I stopped everything. I was quick to use a wellness day at my job. Boop! Criminal can't do it today, because I got to get this little boy in. So I went ahead and sent him, because where he was going was not going to help him. I need him in a place that could help him. So I went ahead, I sent all that information in. I called Children's Hospital of Atlanta. I'm not going to even lie. My poo-poo right now is 5 years old. Them people called me 2 months ago and said there's an opening. I told y'all I attended it. I mean, it was true. I knew I needed to move fast. So then I also had to fill out Katie Beckett. If you watched another video that I had before, Katie Beckett is literally almost 120 pages, 100 pages long. Y'all, I sat there, I stayed up all night long, because I'm queen of I'm gonna get it done. I filled up all the paperwork. I sent it to Katie Beckett, something that's supposed to take 3 months. I was on their butts 2 weeks and it was done. Somebody was calling me back. I put that thing in. And I'll tell you what each of them are. Katie Beckett is something if you have, it's almost like Medicaid for your child or Medicare for your child, but it's just for your child who has this type of disability. So you don't get like the doctor and all that other stuff. It's because your child has a disability if you can't cover it. But I actually had insurance, so my insurance covered, but it is a backup. So if anything happened, that job be like, I don't want you no more. Guess what? They gonna take care of it for that child to have it, which is a beautiful thing that is here in Atlanta, Georgia. In Georgia, I think it's Peach State. And I think Katie Beck is in Georgia. I don't know if it's other places. I just know that's where I had it. So, sorry. So I did that. The wonderful person at Therapy Land, I'm gonna give her a shout out. Her name was Heather. I got the paperwork in so quick. She called me. Hey, the person who was supposed to come for you. So she told me the person who was supposed to be, he gonna be back in 2 seconds again. The person who was supposed to get the spot, it fell through. My paperwork was in. So I was in. So she said, I'll let you know the day you get there. So what I do? Message Daddy. Boop, boop, boop. Got him in the boop, 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 boop. He gonna be here for boop, 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 boop. This is where we're going. This is what he's doing. Let's go. Because it's time to get on board, whatever. So now he's in this autistic school. And y'all, it was hard. Woo. Hard. When I say hard, I mean hard. Y'all, I drove up out to the school. The school is all in Alpharetta, right? School, right? So it has traffic the times I'm going. So it's an hour there and it took me an hour to get back. So that's 2 hours commute. And then I would have to leave a certain time to get there. I was on almost like a 4-hour commute. It was insane. It was insane. I would, I would, for my son, I would literally work in Alpharetta. The days I had to go to work, I would go to work. The days I could stay, drop him off, I would just work in Alpharetta till he got up. Like, it was, I was doing crazy stuff to get this stuff done because it was so far. And I was like, Lord, again, I'm disappointed. I'm tired. I'm tired. Too tired. I don't know if any of y'all watch me, but to be any type of single parent, and I'm not just saying single, I mean you really doing it on your own. It's different. You're tired, you know? I wasn't just fighting for my son. I was fighting to get divorced from his dad. And I was going back and forth the court, back and forth the court, back. I mean, it was insane. We talking about from Alpharetta to Fayetteville. Back and forth, just trying to get a divorce done. Back and forth to Alpharetta, then back and forth to my job. That was my life for, I'm 5 now. That back and forth that was my life. When I had to go to court, I would have to get a friend to take my son all the way to Alpharetta. It was just insane. And I just kept saying, Lord, it was almost like I was at Ringling Brothers. Like a circus. It was literally like a circus. And I could not understand. I'm fighting for my son who has autism. I'm fighting his dad. And it was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I think that back and forth had to be like, I'm trying to see how many years it was. I was doing that back and forth for about almost a year and a half. And it was insane. I know I only did it by the grace of God, but I was also mad at God. I mean, you talk about like upset. I was like, Lord, I'm just trying to get it done. I remember my homegirl called me one time. She was like, I can't lie. Girl, you been going through it. I had a homeboy call me one time. He said, you sure God like you? I'm not lying. That man said, he probably watching now. You did. You said it. Go ahead, let him know you did it. You sure God like you? Because This is crazy. It was already crazy to explain to people why you in a 5-year divorce or the marriage that lasted like a year. That's crazy to explain to anybody, even to this day. I'm not even gonna go into that. Because you look crazy. Because all people gonna say is, you sure y'all want to be divorced? Because people want to be divorced, they get divorced. And you like, yes, I absolutely want to be divorced. It's not, I'm saying that right because you're just going through a divorce. I want to be divorced. What's the problem? I don't know. Go to Fayetteville. Figure it out. I don't know. I don't want to be with him. He don't want to be with me. I don't know why we're not divorced. I really don't know. Except for I go back and forth to court. Back and forth to court. Like, for real, that's a whole nother story. But, yes, there's a problem there, you guys. We're not going to go there today. I'm not telling that story today. But I'm just like, Lord. And then you have to have energy for a child who's actually on the spectrum. I'm not kidding. As you can hear, he in the background, like, he party like a rock star. He ain't gonna sleep no time soon. None. At all. He had a great time. And I just was like, what? I would go back and forth all day long, and then I would work late nights just to get my work done. So I could make sure I kept the lights on. Make sure I kept food in the refrigerator, because you are the mama. I thought I was going to say I was the daddy, huh? I ain't no man. I ain't nobody daddy. I'm his mama. His daddy, that's Jesus. Jesus is daddy. He got a daddy. Either you doing your stuff what you're supposed to do, you're not supposed to do what you're supposed to do. You're still the daddy. But his provider, Jireh, nah, that's him. For real. Because he was providing for us when I had no idea how bills and things got paid. But I was still disappointed in the person who paid the bills. Jesus. Because I said, ain't no way possible. Because like my friend said, you sure? You sure to God? The God you pray to like you? Because I was thinking like, you want a whole bunch of stuff. And it got to the point where they were like, I had people say, I don't understand how you still pray to God when we don't see nothing prospering for you. It looks like it was like, you're just struggling. And I was like, ugh. And struggle for me actually looked different than it looked for other people. Mine was like my time was eaten. And I didn't have enough time for me. I remember my sister looked at one time, she's like, I haven't heard you laugh in a long time. I'm like, this mess ain't funny. It ain't funny. I ain't laughing because it ain't funny. This is not even cool. It got to the point where I finally found peace in the chaos. You know how they sing that song? I find peace in chaos. I started having peace in chaos. But things didn't trigger me anymore. I started praying, and God told me he would give me like serenity in certain situations or favor in certain situations. And he's right. He was right. I was so mad, and he knew it. But my aunt, he had my aunt on me like, for real. Like, look, you be mad at God all day long, but you tell him how you feel. Never stop talking to him. When you start talking to him, that's when the enemy creeps in. And I don't know who need to hear that. That's what you need to keep doing. I don't care if you got a pop. Because Lord knows I did. I mean, I was sitting there. I was popping off so bad one day. My homegirl, Esther, was like, Lord, she repent. No, I don't. And we just going back and forth. I'm like, how in the world you supposed to be the God of womp, and you ain't doing womp? That means your word ain't what your word says. You said that that you don't lie. Your word won't come back void. It's looking voided right now. Like when I say I was popping, okay? I'm gonna be honest, because being honest, y'all can lie if y'all want to, act like y'all sanctified, holified, and all types of holified. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you what I went through so you can have some growth in, okay? I don't want you to go through what I went through. Be better than me, okay? That's why I said follow Jesus, not me. Him, not me. I'm just gonna tell you how he got me through, okay?